Well, this sucks. All right, guys. Yeah, just wanted to do a joke to Madagascar there. I'm also trying out a new set of headphones and mic. These are Bluetooth. These actually work really well. Let me know if you guys think these work a little better than the normal microphone we use on the laptop. But basically, yeah. Hey guys, what's up? It's BigJackFilms here. Welcome to another live stream, and yeah, things are a little tricky last week. This week has been very tricky. Just to give you guys basically, I guess, an overhaul of what's been happening this week. Okay, good. So it's much better quality now. That's good. That's good. I'm gonna maybe use these from now on. But anyway, so a couple of you are probably wondering what the hell's been going on this week. There hasn't been much in terms of videos. That's because of a few things. First of all, I went to a first-time convention at the Metro Toronto Convention Center. Checked it out. It wasn't half bad. Talked to a couple of friends and shit. It was pretty nice. Really nice place. I had a couple of cosplays and stuff happen there. That was all good. Obviously, Easter weekend happened, and I hope all of you had a wonderful, happy Easter. I don't normally celebrate the religious type of Easter, but I always enjoy when the bunny shits out a bunch of chocolate eggs. But that's just me. I do enjoy those. But yeah, so that happened over the weekend. As well, something I should be pointing out is that for the last week or so, I have been working night and day on the 100th episode. As you guys saw from it was just me working on it, constantly trying to answer questions and multitask. That unfortunately did not work. Basically, this 100th episode is taking a lot longer than expected. Normally, when I make an episode or when I know an episode's coming, I do set myself a release date for just to keep myself active, just to keep myself going on my work and not get lazy. That's why when people tell me, why don't you take your time? It's because I want to try to get it done and have a cohesive schedule. Unfortunately, the 100th episode is taking a lot longer than expected. To sum it up, how it's going, we've got the review portions done. I'm finishing up the last few special effects shots. The only thing I have yet to film is the live segments here in my room. We filmed the climax a few weeks ago, and we also just kind of like we're just waiting for a good day to film the segments here and do a few little revisions in the script. But basically, I'm going to be shooting the live segment review portion Saturday and have it out and everything. So the original plan for the 100th episode is to have it out by May 3rd, which is actually a week Friday. That might potentially change. And the reason for that is, first of all, this episode is taking a lot longer than expected because of the amount of content involved. We're pushing this episode to be almost an hour. And in doing that, we need more time to work on it. So one of the first things we're doing actually to give ourselves more time is we're actually going to be splitting the 100th episode into two parts. Meaning, you're going to get part one week and then part two another week. We are definitely going to have part two out in May, but the part one you'll definitely see coming soon. That is going to be the first on our blog. We're just waiting for a few more things. We're waiting for last minute effect shots. We're waiting for a few more voice actors to be involved, but it is taking a lot longer than expected. So hopefully part one will be out by a week Friday. If not, we do have a backup plan. The backup plan is it's still like this review, the Dragon Ball Evolution review will be the 100th episode. Don't get me wrong. But we might actually be doing other things kind of in between that are going to be either opening nights or it's either going to be an opening night, which, and yes, we are actually planning to do a opening night for Avengers Endgame. Our buddy Rice Duke will actually be covering the film for us because I don't know if I'm going to have time to see it, but given from what I've seen, it actually does look pretty good. But to the point, yeah, so the 100th episode might take a little longer than expected. So the plan is to have part one out by a week Friday. If not, I may do another Big Jack Films review just as a backup, just to have something out for you guys. And maybe I'll have a little disclaimer saying, you know, Big Jack Films cannot be here right now, but he has left you a previous recording for you to enjoy, or something like that. I might come up with something. But yeah, the 100th episode will be coming soon. It's just taking a lot longer than expected, and I want to make it look perfect. I want to make it look right. So, again, I do apologize for any inconvenience that some of our viewers might be having and excited for the 100th episode. That's also why I didn't put a release date on the trailer for the 100th episode, because I didn't want to have expectations met, and I didn't want to have it expected by that date. So hopefully at some point you guys will be seeing the 100th episode a week Friday, if not a little something as a backup, just to give us an extra week of time to work. So that's what's been happening. Aside from that, a couple things is this week has been very slow. As you guys can see, like, I haven't shaved or anything. Honestly, because I've been working night and day on this thing, I've been so tired. I am like, this episode's kicking the shit out of me, honestly. I'm surprised. I didn't expect that. I always expect every episode to be like an easy win. But this one is turning out to be one of my most eccentric and probably my most difficult episodes to work on. And that's mostly due to the fact that it's just trying to get it right. It is trying to get it right and make it look good for you guys. And, I mean, we haven't even done test runs to see if it's going to hit copyright or anything like that. So hopefully something will come about it. The other thing is aside from being tired and really stressed out, honestly, about this episode, I have a buddy of mine who is currently not in the best of strength right now. And I want to give a little back to him. His name is McCleary. He's been a huge help on the website. He's been a huge help on the channel, helping us with effect shots. He's been a fan for a while. He's a huge talent, very great talent, who lives in Australia. He's currently not doing so well. I don't want to get into details because personal reasons, but I want to help him out and get him a bit of motivation to just kind of be more positive, because he's just going through a lot. If all of my fellow viewers can, link down below to his YouTube channel. Please go subscribe to Mason. He could really use the support. He could really use the number of subscribers just to give him something to work with and give him something worth, going about in life, essentially. So please do yourself a favor, link down below, go check out his YouTube channel and definitely go support him. He's also a huge Kong fan. In fact, if he's not a King Kong fan, he's more of a fan of the original 1925 Lost World film, which he is currently actually doing a complete remaster HD remaster of the original 25 film. He's actually included footage that hasn't been seen in decades, to the point where the Library of Congress have come up to him saying, where the fuck are you getting this footage? So he is pretty much putting out the definitive version of the original Willis O'Brien Lost World 1925 film. And if you guys want to help support him, if you guys want to give him some motivation, go subscribe to his channel. Please, I implore you to do so, because he needs some help right now, and I want to help him however I can. So please do that for me. So yeah, if I look a little tired today, guys, it's because I've just been through a couple of days of just the last few days have kicked my ass. It's also been a little bit of disappointments here. It's like, this week has been the most disappointing thing since my son. But yeah, that's pretty much the update. So yeah, while we're at it, we will go into questions, and we're probably going to make this about maybe a half hour, 40 minutes, a little shorter than usual. And of course, if you guys would like to support the channel, if you guys would like to donate or whatever, go check out our Patreon page, and we'd be glad to get some support from you guys. Just $1 or more will get you early access to all of our content, plus extra kind of bonus content. You can also check us out on Twitter. You can check us out on Facebook. We also have Instagram. We're doing a bit more there, which is fun. You might see little previews of what's to come. But yeah, definitely go check those out, guys. Go check those out. And also, if you want to mail us, we just did a Fan Mail Fanatics, I believe, yesterday. Go check that out. If you want to mail us stuff, you can at BigJackFilms, P.O. Box 326, Queensville, Ontario, L0G1R0. Also, the description mailbox address is in the description, so definitely go check those out. So yeah, let's answer a few questions while we are here. What are your thoughts on my image of the I tested out with a callback to the first film? Yeah, I like that image, Inuyasha Dinosaur 101. He's been sending me, he's actually, go check out his channel as well. He's been doing this really cool Inuyasha Jurassic Park crossover, which is very odd, but I am kind of curious to see how he pulls it off. But he's sending me some great images that he's using to kind of visualize the story. It's looking great, man. It's looking fantastic. I need motivation in making the film Titanic. How are you making Titanic, Brian? Are you going to be doing it in Lego? Are you going to be doing it in like any other form? It just depends on how you do it. Let's see. Even though no, Brian, you do it with robotics, right? You need motivation. Well, it's more about just what makes you happy, man. It's just more about doing what makes you happy, and just basically. If it's fun for you, then do it. If it's not fun, it starts to become a chore, take a break, do something else, is all I can say, really. I haven't watched it yet, Brian, but it is on my to-do list. I've just been super busy, though I haven't had, unfortunately, any time. Let's see here. Bryce, which one, Jurassic Park, Lost World, or 1920? It's really hard to choose. I do think that the 1997 Steven Spielberg sequel to Jurassic Park is not really more an adaptation of the Michael Crichton Lost World, but it is more of a remake of the Arthur Conan Doyle novel. So I think as a remake, it is the definitive one. Let's see here. Harrison Ford will be almost older than the guy who played the old Indiana Jones in the Young Indiana Jones TV show. Oh, wow, really? Yeah, it's funny because I've been watching a bit of Indiana Jones stuff lately, which is kind of cool. There's been a couple good movies on television lately I've been watching. I watched, I think, Easter weekend, the entire Star Wars saga showcase showed them on television, so I just kind of chilled and did that. When I was like super hungover after a con, I just watched Star Wars. But yeah, they've been showing Indiana Jones, I think, on History Channel and stuff. Let's see here. What moment from the book should I adapt with the horror-based moments? I do something maybe, here's something I might recommend, actually, Dinosaur 101. I would include the Spitters, number one. Maybe have it somehow tied to Naraku. Like, I wouldn't include the Spitter as a major villain, but just as, like, it's the equivalent of Naraku's poisonous insects is what I would do with that, in my opinion. Did I watch the Godzilla trailer, the newest one? Yeah, there's nothing really new about it, honestly. Like, I felt the 5-minute IMAX preview showed more. This one is just kind of meh. They're just using the Somewhere Over the Rainbow again. I'm really thinking, like, trailer-wise, we're kind of done, and we just want to see the goddamn movie, so there's that. Have I seen James Cameron's Avatar? Yes, I have. I think visually it's a very stunning piece of work, probably some of the best CGI in the business. The story stinks. It's Pocahontas. It's Dances with Wolves. It's Atlantis. We've seen this a bajillion times. Or as South Park calls it, Dances with Smurfs. That's what I call the movie. In terms of the sequels, I want to see a trailer before I decide if I'm going to go and join in with the franchise, essentially. What are your thoughts on Walking with Beasts? I've never... okay. I remember seeing Walking with Prehistoric Beasts, at least the first episode when it aired, because I was so hooked on Walking with Dinosaurs when that aired. That was a huge, big deal. And I sat through Walking with Beasts. They showed, like, the prologue and everything. And I watched the first chapter, and I couldn't get into it. I was not a fan of that spin-off series to Walking with Dinosaurs. I think just because, in terms of other prehistoric animals, I'm just going to stick with my dinosaurs. Like, those are my personal favorites. Hey, Jack, if It Part 2 comes out, will you watch it? Funny enough, I've seen the original It, and I really like it just because of Tim Curry, because Tim Curry's hilarious in that. I've seen bits and pieces of the new movie, but I actually skipped out on that. I kind of didn't have time to see it, but I do actually maybe want to go check it out. I've heard a lot of good things about the recent redo of It, and especially with the next one coming out, it might be worth checking out. What do you think about the Laura Croft character in Indiana Jones in an Indiana Jones movie? So it's basically Indiana Jones with a woman? Maybe. I just see more Indiana Jones on par with like something like James Bond, where you can recast them every decade and basically make a new set of adventures that aren't in continuity with each other, is what I think they should do with Indiana Jones. So like my next candidate for Indy, I would go with Chris Pratt, because Chris Pratt could play a pretty damn good Indiana Jones, I think. I think there are very few films with prehistoric mammals over the past century. Yeah, like that's the thing. Like the last one I saw was 10,000 BC, and it was a piece of shit. And that's only because I hate Roland Emmerich. I find he makes some of the worst fucking B movies. Like they're not Asylum bad, but they're still pretty bad. Like they're still pretty shitty films, in my opinion. Did you see the Robot Chicken Smurfs Avatar parody called Snuffatar? No. Yeah, I did see that where Gargamel becomes an avatar. I also saw the one where Robot Chicken did the spoof called Blue Rabbit's Fucking, which is pretty much sums up that movie essentially in a nutshell. What are your thoughts on the new Ceratosaurus figures from Mattel? I like the original one better. Actually, funny enough, you mentioned that Inuyasha Dinosaur 101. I actually did go to a thrift shop, and I did find a Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom Ceratosaurus figure of the original one, and I love it. The new figure just looks like just a reskin. It's nothing really special, but I do like the original colors of the first one. Hey, Jack, did you see where it was Jessica Lange's birthday the day before Easter? Oh, right. I forgot about that. Yeah, it was Jessica Lange's birthday. She's turned 70, and she still looks great, honestly. You know, for 70, not bad. If Jessica Lange's hearing this, happy late birthday. Tonk 76, probably the best film she ever did. It's that or Rob Roy, I find, are her best films. Rob Roy, if you guys are fans of Kong 76, I would recommend Rob Roy. She's great in that. She co-stars with Liam Neeson and Tim Roth. She's excellent in that. That movie actually made my top 10 favorite sword fights in movies. Go check out that video as well. Is there a film series that's unfinished that you'd like to see finished? You mean a franchise that kind of just stopped and just never picked up? Oh, that's a good question, actually. I mean, it's really hard to choose. I mean, I just like it when stories come full circle, when they finish up completely. I'm just trying to think of maybe a series that ended very abruptly and never had a finale. That's a tough question. There's not many franchises that did that. I mean, the only ones I think of are things like the original 6 Halloween movies, but because of the newer movies, it kind of just doesn't really add up. Like if they had wrapped that up properly, it would have been fine, but they didn't. Things like, I'm trying to think off the top of my head. Well, I'm really hoping Game of Thrones wraps up really well. Like I've been watching Game of Thrones since it started, and I love the show. I'm really enjoying the last final season. In fact, if you guys want to go check out a recap of the series, go to our website and check out Rice Duke's videos. He does these excellent reviews of all the Game of Thrones episodes, and he's our go-to Game of Thrones guy whenever we need to like do something like that. So definitely go check that out. But trying to think, shows or movies that ended abruptly. That's tough. That is actually very tough. Okay. Oh, this one they did finish. They did one last season, and it was like 5 years later. But I remember when they did the final episode of the show, and it pissed me off. The original series finale to Inuyasha, because what happened was the anime aired from like 2000 to 2004. At the time, the manga was still being made, and there were occasional times where they had to take breaks because Rumiko Takahashi had to finish the manga. She had to keep writing chapters for or for some sort of shonen magazine or something. But what happened was they got to a point where I think they actually went beyond the manga at some point. I think the last season they went a few episodes beyond the manga. And what happened was they pretty much had to end it abruptly because they obviously couldn't finish. They didn't have an ending for it. Rumiko didn't have an ending. She didn't give them any notes. It's not like George R.R. Martin, who gave notes on Game of Thrones because they've gone beyond the books. This one, they had to end it abruptly. And obviously it ended in Japan. But what happened was that I remember this aired on YTV. They made it a big deal. You know, the final episode. This is going to be it. This is going to end it. It's going to wrap it up. And I was excited. So there I am. You know, it's Friday night. It's after school. I'm really hyped. I have my popcorn. I got my drinks ready. I'm going to watch the last episode. And it's going to be great. It's going to wrap up and everything. I recorded it even. I remember recording it. And I watched it. And boy, was it rushed. It was rushed like hell. And I remember just being so perplexed thinking, oh my God, this is it. Like, this is it. Like, we've gone like 120 something episodes or 40 something episodes. And this is how you end it. Like, which just saying, just chill, and at the end they say, we hunt Naraku to the ends of the earth. That's the last scene. So it's pretty much Inuyasha at World's End. This is pretty much the Dead Man's Chest ending. I was pissed. I was really upset. I was really pissed off. Like, how could you end a series that I've been so invested in throughout high school? How could you end it like that? Like, that pissed me off. Like, and I was perplexed. I was like, there's no way this is how it ended. And I didn't know about it for years. I didn't know about for years that they finished the manga. Thankfully, with Final Act, they wrapped it. But think about a decade. About a decade, it was pretty much nothing but fan speculation, fan fictions of what happened after that continued the story. In fact, when I started doing my own Inuyasha project, I wrote it after that original series ended and then had to go back and rewrite it because of events of the final act. So I remember I was just so pissed off. I went back to school and I was like, and people were like, "Are you okay, dude?" I'm like, "Dude, I'm pissed. They ended it in such a shitty way." So in answer to your question, in terms of like what series do I think ended really abruptly, Inuyasha was probably one of the biggest abrupted endings I've ever seen. Like, the fuck were they thinking? And even then, it wasn't the last thing they did. They did the fourth movie, and even then, it kind of was just filler. The fourth movie is essentially filler, and even then, they sit there at the end, we're done, goodbye. There is a part of me that actually would like to see a fifth movie made. If Toho would be interested in continuing the franchise. I know, like, after Final Act, it's going to be a little difficult to really do something with the story. But you could, if you could get Rumiko Taka, I mean, because think about it, next year is, like, I know the 20th anniversary of the manga happened back in 2017, but the anime has its 20th anniversary in 2020, because the show aired in Japan in 2000. So it would be interesting for the 20th anniversary of the anime if they decided to do a fifth film and make it post-final act. You can make it filler, that's fine. We just want to see our characters, like our old friends again. We want to see the characters again. We want to see how they've been doing. You know, maybe let's see Kagome and Inuyasha as they have their marriage. Maybe maybe they have a child. You know, like, you could do stuff with that. You know, see how Moroku and Sanga are doing. How's Kohaku doing? You know, like, how are all these characters doing? And maybe just have this extra adventure, this last little extra adventure. Maybe have a new villain, like just have a movie-based villain, like just a demon or something that wants to control the world. And yeah, just do this one last film. But here's what I would also do. The one character that has not been really shown up in any of the movies is Koga. And Koga is the wolf demon guy. My opinion, I think they should just have, because if they can do an Inuyasha and Sesshomaru movie with the third film, fifth film should focus on Inuyasha and Koga. I think that should be an interesting story to tell if you could. Essentially, that's what I would do. If I was at Toho, I'd be like, let's do one more movie. Let's see if there's still interest in the series, and let's actually do kind of sort of a pilot to a fifth film. And, like, if people like it and they want more, we'll maybe talk to Rumiko Takahashi, dump a fuckload of yen on her front lawn, and say, we need you to make more of this, because I think there's potential. So there you go. There's my long-winded Inuyasha sort of argument about how it abruptly ended. Hey, Jack, will you ever do a crossover with Dr. Wolfula? I wish I honestly, it'd be interesting to do something like that. Unfortunately, I don't know Dr. Wolfula at all as a person. Like, I don't know him personally. So I don't think I would ever do a crossover, but, like, say he knew who I was and he wanted to contact me and do a crossover, I'd be like, yeah, sure. I know crossover-wise, there are a couple people I do have plans to work with in the future, one being Huey Tumor. We are planning a crossover review sometime down the road. I can't remember what the movie was we're going to be reviewing, but there is a crossover planned. I think it's going to be for his show. We're doing something. And then the other one I'm actually kind of interested in doing around next year is with Mega J Retro, who has been a huge supporter of the channel. And he actually does his own review show. I've met him at a couple of cons. He runs a couple of conventions here in Ontario. But what's cool about Mega J is that he started his own channel and he does his own reviews. And some of his best reviews I find are anything with Rankin Bass, like the Rankin Bass stop motion shorts. So for me, what I like to do is something I kind of thought about. It's funny because it's sort of a tradition to me to watch this every Easter weekend or every Easter. You guys remember the Rankin Bass short film, The Easter Bunny is Coming to Town? which was it's kind of a spin-off sequel to Santa Claus is Coming to Town. In fact, the same host, Fred Astaire, hosts this special, and as well as he hosts the Santa Claus special. So it's actually a direct continuation of that. It's just he's got a job over the spring and summer working for the Easter Bunny. He's got like a choo-choo train and shit. It's great stop motion. Like, I love those Rankin Bass stop motion films. So I watched it over the weekend, or over the Easter weekend, and there was a part of me that's like, I want to review this, because I don't think there's been many reviews of that film, of the Easter Bunny is Coming to Town, because I think it's actually a great continuation of the Santa Claus special. And it doesn't get as much attention as most other specials. Like, you know how, like, Nostalgia Critic said, hey, you know, there's only one Easter Bunny movie with Hop, which is a piece of shit film. No, actually, there's Easter Bunny is Coming to Town is considered an Easter movie. So for me, I'm actually considering reviewing that, but I'm thinking I want to get Mega J Retro involved and do a crossover, because that would be something that we both have interest in. I'm interested in this film. He's interested in Rankin Bass, and we can kind of combine our forces, which would be kind of cool. But those for me are essentially crossovers at the moment I'm working with. I know you guys really enjoyed me and the Media Hunter doing a review, which I had a fun time definitely doing. So for me, I definitely want to like go do more crossovers, especially for my channel. I feel like if I can get more people guests on my channel, that would be something I'd be interested in. One person I would love to work with at some point, I just don't know when, some jerk with a camera. I love Tony Goldmark's work. I think he is hilarious. I really want to work with him at some point. He's like Weird Al Yankovic if he was an online critic. I've talked to him occasionally on Twitter. He's a really nice guy. Same thing with his buddy Spazmaster. There's part of me that really wants to work with those guys at some point. Huey, nothing's going on, man. I've just kind of updated what's been going on. I'm just saying that the 100th episode might be a little bit delayed, because I want to give more time to work on it, essentially, because this week's been kind of a bit stressful and tiring. But everything's okay, Huey. I'm just talking about how, like, who I want to work with crossover wise. And yes, Huey, we got to get on that episode soon. We got to get on our crossover at some point, because that's something I really want to work on. What was your question, Kevin? Just put it in the text again. I wish Steven Spielberg would direct the Jurassic World sequel instead of J.A. Bayona. Do you get that? Well, isn't Colin Trevorrow directing the last one, directing this third one? I think he is. They're pulling what J.J. Abrams was doing with Episode 9. I think Colin is more, because that's the thing. When Colin was announced for Episode 9, I was excited. But then when I watched Fallen Kingdom and saw what he was doing in the writing process, I was concerned about Episode 9. But I think for Colin, Jurassic Park is more him than Star Wars. So I am happy he's coming back for the last film, and maybe he can wrap it up properly. I would like to see if Spielberg could come back. Yeah, that'd be great to do the last one, but I really don't see him doing, I'm not too sure. Oh god. Let's see here. Any more top 10 videos coming? Sword fighting one was epic. Thank you so much, Morgan. I'm really glad you appreciated the sword fight episode. If you want to see more, I've done 2 others. I've done my top 10 favorite Christmas specials, and I've also done my top 10 timeless Back to the Future moments, where I reviewed the entire trilogy through a top 10 list. We also got the DeLorean for that, so you check those out. In terms of future top 10 lists, I do want to do more of those. I really enjoy making those. It's just they take a lot longer than usual. The next one I definitely want to do probably be an editorial episode, so it'll be shorter, but it'll be around November for the anniversary of a certain creature. And okay, well, basically, I'm thinking at some point I'm going to break my code and finally talk about something Godzilla related on the channel. But what it's going to be is my top 10 favorite Godzilla films. And the reason I'm holding off till November is because I want to see how King of the Monsters turns out before I make my final list. Because I do have my list right now. It's just I want to wait to see where King of the Monsters is going to rank, if it's going to be higher than the other films or if it's going to be lower. So I'm waiting to see. Let's see what happens there. That's what I'm hoping for. Who would you cast as Indiana Jones side characters such as Brody Sala? Sala is really hard to replace because it's John Rhys Davis. That's difficult. I'd have to think about that. Yeah, I know. Delays have been really bad for a lot of people lately. Yeah, again, Huey, I wouldn't worry about that. I mean, I know some jerk, don't worry about it on Twitter. Just Support him on YouTube. That's all you can do, man. But let's not create drama on here, guys. Let's not be dramatic here, because I've had enough of that as it is this week, honestly. Have you seen Shazam? I loved it. I haven't seen it, but I've heard really good things about it, and I do want to see it. I do want to see Shazam. I just haven't had the time. Again, this 100th episode, guys, has been kicking the shit out of me, honestly. Like, it's been punching me in the balls way too much. The Dragon Balls, per se. Do you watch Gotham? Because tomorrow's the final episode. Oh, we're getting the final episode of Gotham tomorrow? Okay, shit, yeah, because, yeah, I got a new mic, Huey. I'm using a Bluetooth headphone set. I'm trying it out. It seems to be working really well. But yeah, the new Gotham episode, that's the thing. Like, I've been off and on with Gotham. I've enjoyed parts of it, but I am just more looking forward to see when Batman's going to show up. And hopefully, if this finale is getting good ratings, I really want Warner Brothers to do like a follow-up series, like maybe like 10 years later, but with Batman. Like, let's get a legit live-action Batman TV series in the works. I know he's showing up in Titans. I know he's going to be played by Lord Friendzone from Game of Thrones, as I call him, which I think is a decent casting choice, but I want just a solo Batman live-action TV series, because think about it. We haven't had a live-action TV series about the title character of Batman since 1966. Yeah, we've had Birds of Prey, we've had Titans, we've had Gotham, we've had all these, but never starring the title character in the costume, with the villains, with the car, all that jazz. Not one series has come out of Batman live-action TV series since 1966. And I don't know whether it's because the 60s show was so campy or because they want to pay respect to Adam West, but it's about time Batman gets on the small screen again. And not just animated, not just spin-offs, like a legit live-action television series of The Dark Knight. I would watch that every week, in my opinion. Like, I love the 60s show, Matthew, but like for me, it's just like, I want to see that. Which hybrid dinosaurs would you like to see in the Jurassic movie series? I want to see what they were supposed to do with Fallen Kingdom. And that was, of course, being the fact that the Indoraptor was supposed to have human DNA. I don't care if it's stupid. I don't care if the fans have been complaining about it for over a decade, since the fourth film's been through development hell. I want my human dinosaur hybrids, goddammit. That's all I really want to see at this point, because since you brought up the human cloning thing, you might as well do human dino hybrids. Go all Roger Corman Carnosaur on it. In fact, question, guys, Jurassic Park fans and other dino fans. I know we're getting one more. I know we're getting a last Jurassic Park movie. Can we focus maybe on making a new dinosaur series? Like, honestly, like, let's get some new dinosaur series, or give a franchise of dino movies that haven't really gotten a big chance to shine. Like, for example, let's get a remake of Carnosaur. Okay, I love the original Carnosaur. Like, I think it's campy. I think it's stupid. I love the concept, though. I think there's parts that are legitimately scary, and the effects, while fake looking, do look impressive for the time. For me, I want to see a big budget redo of the book of Carnosaur, because I think it has potential for a great film. Not a bunch of load of sequels, but like a film about this dinosaur hybrid thing, or this dinosaur cloning thing, but like a horror version. Absolutely, I would pay to see that. Like, that's a dinosaur franchise I think deserves a reboot. Huey Two-More has one, Dinotopia. Think about that for a franchise. You can make that a trilogy. And hell, third movie, you could go all Return of the King on it, have this massive dinosaur battle thing. That'd be amazing. Dino Riders, even. Where's a Dino Riders movie? That would make money. Like, yeah, let's do a reboot of Dino Riders. Get Taiko to make the toys again. You know, make them brand new and everything. So yeah, let's get some not Jurassic Park, not King Kong dinosaur films out there, because it's about time we focus on other franchise or other sources to make dinosaur movies. Like, okay, this is going to sound like blasphemy. I just thought, okay, yeah, a Guanji remake, Huey. That's what I would do. I would direct that. And you would direct it too, man. Okay. So this is going to sound like complete blasphemy, and especially for a lot of animated fans. So that live-action Lion King is looking pretty damn good. Really damn good, as a matter of fact. Now, I'm going to sound like complete blasphemy. This is a sin to say. But given the technology and my curiosity, can't even say it. I can't even. I think I know Huey knows exactly what I'm going to say. I kind of want a live-action remake of The Land Before Time. I know, it's blasphemy. The original film is a childhood classic. It should not be touched. The sequels already did that. I know, guys. I know. Here come the hate comments. I know. And I feel really bad for saying that because I might be giving Universal a really shitty idea. But it's just the technology is so fucking good right now. The technology and CGI and stuff is so good right now. Even if it's a short film, even if it's an experimental film, like an experimental short film, a live action Land Before Time movie with its dark, and you know what? Here's the thing. You don't even need, here's the best part. You don't even need to actually legitimately remake it. You could make this story work. You can make the story work. But here's how cool it would be. Don't make the dinosaurs talk. Don't make them talk. Let them act through animation and physical acting as animals, as dinosaurs. You can make this a legit, really cool looking dinosaur documentary. And the only thing you'd keep from the original is the original James Horner score. The original James Horner score, and you just make it complete like you do. And this isn't one of those things where you completely CGI the entire thing. Not the entire thing. Just the dinosaurs. Real locations. So you go and get background plates and you just add dinosaurs like the Disney dinosaur. Everybody complains that the Disney dinosaur movie was a ripoff of Land Before Time, which it kind of is. But imagine Universal putting money and cashing in on this live action thing and doing a Land Before Time movie on a very dark and serious level. Like making it an actual drama, like an actual documentary. Imagine how powerful the scene, Littlefoot's, spoiler alerts, Littlefoot's mom dies. It's sad as all. We all cry over that. But imagine the concept that you have James Horner's score as Littlefoot's mom's dying. You do the same thing, but there's no dialogue. All you hear is the breathing of the mother on her final breaths. All you hear is the baby, Littlefoot, little tiny baby Littlefoot. And you just hear almost like dog puppy whimpers from this animal. Think about how much more powerful that could be, seeing photorealistic dinosaurs in that matter. And again, no talking, just the sound of the rain, the sound of just this animal on its deathbed, and this little the child of this animal just there on its deathbed. Think about how powerful that can be. Again, I know, blasphemy to say this. Blasphemy to say remake Land Before Time. How fucking dare you? You're tarnishing Don Bluth's legacy. And I'm okay with Don Bluth. I love Don Bluth. I think, I'm really, really supporting the Dragon Slayer movie. I really want to see that happen. I want to go back to 2D animation. But as an experimental short, even, you could do something with that. I think you could put out some really good emotion with that. No Hans Zimmer. No Hans Zimmer, Thomas. I think original James Horner score, you don't change anything in the score. You just keep Horner's music in there. Because that's half the reason that movie worked, was James Horner's score. And, man, here's the thing with James Horner, is that I'd put him up there with John Williams. Because his scores are so iconic and so good. I feel like the late James Horner was underused. He wasn't used to his full potential, in my opinion. He wasn't as used as much as John Williams. He wasn't used to full great potential. And that's a shame. Because I think James Horner, despite him passing away, had great potential to be larger. He knew how to make a score work. So there you go. There's a little rant for you there. Hey Jack, how would you feel if they made a live action all done? See, that's where I crossed the line, Bryce. That's where I crossed the line. Land Before Time, yes, but nothing else. Don't remake American Tail. Don't remake All Dogs Go to Heaven. Don't remake frickin' Rockadoodle. Don't remake Secret of Nim. I know they've been talking about that, but don't fucking do it. Land Before Time, that's the only one you could really do with photorealistic dinosaurs. So yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Or no, even like, there you go. A remake of Planet of Dinosaurs, a movie that was shot on a low budget, looks great. That would be a great film. You know, that would be a good movie. They actually, Bryce, they are doing a live action Tom and Jerry movie. They are doing that. And honestly, okay, again, guilty pleasure, I like the original Tom and Jerry movie. I know it's bombastic because they make them talk, the songs are terrible, but you know what, guys? I liked the animation. I liked Tom and Jerry in the movie. I liked all the characters. I liked the songs. Like, I liked the Tom and Jerry movie. That's really the only one I need. Like, all these other ones, terrible. So, for me, like, yeah, the original Tom and Jerry movie, I actually kind of like. Henry Mancini's score is actually pretty decent in that. Live action unicorn, yes. Okay, Huey, here's an interesting story. I don't know if I've ever told you this, but a few years ago, they had a special anniversary screening of The Last Unicorn in Toronto. I went with a really good friend, and the author of the book was there. The author of the book. And he's a really nice guy. Really, really super duper nice guy. And he's actually friends with George R.R. Martin, so they have some like collabs together on Game of Thrones Last Unicorn stuff, which is pretty cool, which makes me think if Last Unicorn is canon. If Last Unicorn actually takes place in Westeros, that'd be amazing. So, funny enough, we were watching the film. The film looked great in HD, uncut. It was amazing, like, to see it with an audience. It was great. But afterwards, there was a panel with the author of the book, and a fan asked him if the rights are available for a live action film. And he said, yes, we have the rights. Like, he has the rights, but no studio has picked it up yet. No studio has really picked up the rights to The Last Unicorn, which I hope somebody does, because that's the next big fantasy series. Like, but here's the thing with the live action unicorn, Huey. A couple things I would keep, at least from the original. I would make it kind of the same design, like the unicorn, the same design if you can. The same kind of costume designs, the same thing. You could update them appropriately and make them look good. Sorry, I'm just getting a lot of hair in my face. You could update them and make them look nice. The one thing I would keep, though, keep the America score. The America score I love, and I don't see any way that could be replaced, in my opinion. That can't be replaced, the America score, because the America score to The Last Unicorn is fantastic. Yeah, like, that's the thing. And the thing is, too, actually, like, Peter S. Beagle really got screwed over when I talked to him. Like, he told me he got really fucked over when it was released, which sucks. But, yeah, like, man, a live-action Last Unicorn would kill for that. That'd be amazing. Even if you have the CGI Christopher Lee in that as King Haggard, I'd fucking see that. No, not Tom and Jerry and Jaws. No. Bryce, you go to your room and you think about what you just said. You go to your room, buddy. No, I don't know. Kristen, the 100th episode, I explained it early on in the live stream, but we're going to be taking a bit more time to work on it. So one of the things we're going to do is split it into two parts. Part one is scheduled for a week Friday release. If not, it might be the week after, because I just need as much time as I can to finish it. I've been working night and day to get this done for you guys. It's crazy. Been working night and day to get this done. Like, it's been nuts. Remake of Stephen King's Sleep. Yeah, that's the thing. I think because of the recent It movie, a lot of Stephen King movies are now getting remakes, and proper remakes, like proper good remakes. Like, obviously some you can't really do. Like, there's no way you could do another version of The Shining without comparing it to the Kubrick classic. It you can do. Langoliers you could do. I'm trying to think of one I would like. No, what? Again, like, I love the original film, but I wouldn't mind a remake. Let's get Cujo in there. Let's get a remake of Cujo. I'd be up for that. Like a fucking like legit remake of that. That'd be fucking great. Get the same guys who did Pet Sematary. Absolutely. Let's see here. Oh, good question here. What if Peter Jackson made a Legend of Zelda movie? Yes. But here's the thing. Eduardo, a Legend of Zelda movie actually already exists. And in fact, it came out before the game. a year before the game. That is Ridley Scott's Legend. I know what you're thinking. It's like, that's not Zelda. Yes, it is. Elf kid rescues princess from Dark Lord, obtains magical sword, shield, armor, followed by a fairy glow thing. There's all this other stuff. That's Legend of Zelda. So anybody who complains they need a Legend of Zelda movie, go watch the Ridley Scott Legend film. It is actually a masterpiece. I will say this right now. I watched it for the first time last year, Legend. It's one of the prettiest films one of the most beautiful films I've ever seen in my life. Ever. Tom Cruise, Tom Cruise was Jack, who was kind of like a Link character, Huey. But, like, Legend. You want a Legend of Zelda movie? Go look up Legend. That is a wonderful film. And I would recommend the original UK cut with Jerry Goldsmith's score, because I tried to watch the one with the Tangerine Dream score, and it was garbage. It was butchered. And I just didn't like it. I didn't like the American cut. I like the original UK cut. One question is from one that says, are you really going to kill Android 18? Okay, so for those who watched the trailer for the 100th episode and saw that little peek of where, holding 18 in my arms, screaming my eyes out. I can't say. I don't want to say, because I don't want to give it away. I don't want to give it away. I really don't want to give it away. Let's just say, yes, something does happen to 18. And that leads into a big event in the episode. That's all I will say. I won't say if she dies. I won't say if she lives. You'll have to find out when you see the part 2 of the 100th episode, unfortunately, which might take a while. So, yeah, that answers your question about the concern in the trailer. Plus, also, great timing, Thomas. She lives. Cut to Frollo. But, yeah, so in terms of... I can't say, Christian. I can't say anything. I really can't say. I don't want to give it away. This is one of those things where I'm keeping it all in the mystery box. However, if you guys want to see a little preview of it, go check out, follow me on Twitter, follow me on Instagram, you'll see a little preview. What would you like to see in a sequel to E.T.? That's a good question. Honestly, that's a sequel I'd like to see, is a sequel to E.T. I don't know if we'd ever get it in time for the 40th anniversary in a couple of years for 2022, but think about how cool that would be. A 40th anniversary, a sequel taking place 40 years later of E.T. And here's what I would do, essentially. Here's what I would do with E.T. is that obviously the events shook the neighborhood, shook a lot of people. Only a few sightings were seen, but the government kept it very quiet, kept the whole E.T. thing very quiet. Meanwhile, you have Elliot and his entire family are on the run. Or not even on the run. They've pretty much gone off the grid. They've gone off the grid. They kind of just do their own thing, right? They do their own thing, right? So Elliot obviously has a family. He has a son. He has kids of his own. Same thing with Drew Barrymore's character. They've all grown up. The mom's a grandmother, and all that stuff. So you explore more of that family and where they've been for 40 years. It's like meeting some really old friends you haven't seen in a couple decades. But all of a sudden, some weird events start happening. Real kind of supernatural events. There's no sign of E.T. There's no sign. No sign of E.T., nothing. In fact, you will not see E.T. until the end of the movie. That's how they get you. You do not see E.T. until the end of the film. And here's what I mean by that. So for 40 years, Elliot has been going off the grid. He's been going off the grid. He has been nowhere in sight. Like, he's kind of going doing those things. He's trying to avoid the government. He's kind of like John Connor in Terminator 3. But then, he's trying to raise a family and stuff. He's trying to provide. Maybe it's not so trouble. You do kind of a Close Encounters thing where, like, Richard Dreyfuss goes nuts. But then the government starts questioning him because they started noticing signs in the sky. Like, they've been noticing night skies, essentially, like which the original title was. And they obviously want to question Elliot about it because they think E.T. is coming back, or they think that those aliens are coming back, and they want to take advantage of that. Elliot's having none of it, so he keeps running. He keeps running from it. And then there's a moment where the government, takes his family and is holding them hostage, just to get him to speak. Elliot snaps, and not only does he snap, it turns out he has some sort of telekinesis. And people are just like, whoa, 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 whoa. This guy's got what the hell's going on? So it turns out some of these supernatural things aren't just from the sky, they're from Elliot, right? And it turns out when he made the connection with E.T. 40 years ago, some of E.T.'s, not DNA, but his powers were passed over to Elliot. So Elliot's got kind of supernatural powers, right? And he's been fighting this for years and keeping it quiet. He's been fighting it for years. In fact, his wife, I want to say this, his wife's the girl he kissed in the original movie in school. So basically, because he's now, like, people think what's going on, it's all over the news and everything's on the run. They finally catch him. Elliot is actually dying. Elliot is actually near death because that took a lot out of him. His body cannot function properly. So he's taken to the hospital, to the government. Everybody's keeping an eye on this kid. Everybody's like, what's going on with Elliot? And people start realizing, wait, this is the kid that friended the alien 40 years ago. Because I guess the whole ET thing is a rumor, right? It's a whole rumor. But now it's become like, oh shit. And now some people might even think of it as the second coming of Christ. I like to think you do some sort of Akira stuff with this, like stuff related to sort of like Akira, especially how characters are interacting and how people are reacting. So Elliot's on his deathbed, and the whole time, and I like to think in the span of 40 years, he does keep trying to contact E.T. and saying, come back. Please come back. I miss you, my old friend. I want my friend back. Like he's been trying for decades. So Elliot is on his deathbed. Everybody starts looking to the sky. The same spaceship comes back. This is the last bit in the movie. Spaceship comes down. Out comes E.T. Fully practical, no CG. Fully practical. He comes down and he wants to speak with Elliot. So they bring him to Elliot. Elliot's dying. He's on his last legs. And E.T. is actually almost on his last legs as well. Like this guy's pretty old at this point. And it's a great reuniting between these two characters. Like it's a really heartwarming reunited. We've been waiting the whole movie for this. So basically, to save Elliot's life, to keep him going, E.T. essentially heals him and basically gives Elliot his life back, like his full functioning life back. Like not necessarily like back in time shit, but he gives his body back. He's able to like basically cure his friend. But in doing so, it's kind of like Shawshank, where Michael Clark Duncan's character takes in all the viruses. So now E.T.'s suffering the same fate, and he is on the verge of death. And now Elliot's like, but E.T., you'll die. Like, don't do. You don't have to do this for me. And all E.T. says is, remember, I'll be right here. Tie into the last movie. And E.T. dies. E.T. dies, and his body isn't presented to the government. It kind of disappears. It kind of disappears, or glitter or something flies away. And, and Elliot's okay, and that's how you end it. Elliot lives, E.T. dies. That's how I would do a sequel. And again, you save E.T. You save the whole thing to the last act. You don't even show him for the majority of the movie. You focus on Elliot, and you focus on his family and everything that's been going on for 40 years. That's what I would do. In my opinion, that's what I would do with a sequel to E.T. is like, don't show him until the last bit of the film. But that's just me. Okay, wow, we're going on a bit longer than usual. So, wow, there's a lot of Tom and Jerry. Oh my God, guys, stop with these Tom and Jerry crossovers. Please stop. So we're going to answer 3 more questions, as usual. And we're going to pretty much wrap this up. I just wanted to give you guys an update of what's been going on. What's with the Xbox mic? This is not an Xbox mic. This is actually a Bluetooth headphone set. And I've been really enjoying it so far. The E.T. sequel should not have E.T. in the title. You know what it is? You disguise E.T. in the title, but you know what it's called? Elliot. Don't even call it E.T., call it Elliot. And just, when you do the teaser, you show E.T., but then it says Elliot. You fade out to the rest. That's what I would do. So, last 3 questions. Let's see. Let's see here. How about a Lost World movie with Bruce Campbell as Professor Challenger and Nathan Fillion as Lord John Roxton? That would actually be kind of cool. I would actually like to see that, actually. If Jurassic World 3 adapted the comedy scene from the book, would you feel about... Okay, well, I'm going to skip that one. Hey, Jack, will you get an SH Monster Arts Godzilla 1962? I cannot afford those figures, unfortunately. I wanted the Kong one, like the 2005 one, but I couldn't afford it. I could not afford it at all. So for me, I just can't afford those figures. They're too expensive. Hugh Tumor, thoughts on the upcoming Terminator Dark Fate? I'm excited because Cameron's involved, but I'm also concerned because Terminator Genesis was a piece of shit. We'll have to see what goes on with Terminator Dark. I'll make my decision when I see a trailer, because I was not sold on Genesis. So let's see what happens with the trailer. If Cameron has high involvement, then maybe. Okay, final question is from Christina Villarada. Says, Jack, are you an Android 18 cosplayer close friends? You could say we're friends. Okay, so something I actually discussed in one of the recent live streams is that the character of myself and 18 as a relationship is character only. I do not have a girlfriend who is 18, unfortunately. It is all part of this character, which I do for entertainment for you guys. We've had a couple of people play 18 on the show. The original concept was just, backstock animation using original audio work from the great and talented Meredith Malden, who does the voice for Funimation for the original dub and as well as Dragon Ball Super. But unfortunately, we were starting to run into a problem where we were running out of animation and we were running out of voice recordings. So I made a call to a few people, most notably Android 18 YouTubers who do reactions and stuff. Most notably, the two who have done the voice the most are Queen 18 and Bayteen, two of which are incredibly talented voice actresses who do these amazing videos. In fact, go check out their channels. They're on our channel friends list. Go check them out. And Mason, hope you're doing better, buddy. Guys, go support Mason, by the way. Go support Mason. Go subscribe to his channel. He could really use some help, guys. Like, he could really use some support. Go check out his channel and go subscribe. Anyway, so Bayteen and Queen 18 does do the voice for any animation segments. The current holder of Android 18, the current holder of the role, is a really good friend of mine who I actually hired. We had an interview and everything. And she's on Instagram. She's known as Battle Alana. She is an amazing cosplayer. She not only does Android 18, she does other things, Pokemon, DC stuff. She's really great at what she does. We met at a local con, I think I want to say January, and we just started talking, and we just started I told her kind of what I was doing with my show, and she was really interested. So we friended each other on Facebook. We started talking. And then I actually did an interview with her. We did a lunch interview, and she was really interested in what we were doing. So the first shoot we did was the Valentine's Day special. It went really well, and we've been working with each other ever since. And it's a real great working employment relationship because we're able to just basically, work on the projects and just have fun with them, essentially, which is great. It's fantastic. She's one of the best actresses I've worked with, and not only that, she gets really into the filmmaking process. She has actually her own ideas of what she wants to do and create a process, which I really admire with what she does as a worker on the site and on the channel. But she's in terms of where she fits in terms of the show itself. She is our version of Tamara Chambers, essentially. She's our version of Tamara Chambers. If Bradley is our Malcolm, essentially. So that's how I can describe it. And honestly, Batty Alana is one of the best actresses I've worked with. She's a great cosplayer. I would highly recommend go checking out her Instagram. She needs more. She deserves a lot more support, essentially, for her cosplays. So definitely go check her out. So yeah, that's it for this live stream, guys. Thank you all so much for joining us. I'm glad you all basically got to see what we're updating on. In case those who have just joined us and are just about to head out, the 100th episode is coming. We are planning for part 1 to air a week Friday. If not, it might be the next week because we do need more time to work on it. But we will have something as a backup just in case. But we are working hard on it. It's been kicking my ass. I have been working on it day and night. Like, in fact, I'm going to work on it tonight, and it's like, what time is it now? Like, it's already like 12:22. It's already like 12:22 at night. It's fucking crazy. So I'm going to be working on this all night and getting some stuff done. But thank you all so much for watching this live stream. If you guys have any questions or comments, let us know in the comments section below. If you guys would like to support the channel, go check us out on Patreon. Just $1 or more will get you early access to all of our content as well as extra features. If you want to mail us gifts, if you want to mail us letters, if you want to mail us, letters, gifts, fan art, whatever, you can. So at this address, BigJackFilms, PO Box 326, Queensville, Ontario, L0G1R0. The address is in the description down below. And on top of that, guys, we are actually looking for people to do more fan art. If you guys want to send us fan art, definitely do through Twitter, through Instagram, through Facebook. We'd love to see what you guys come up with. If you guys want to do AMVs even of our show, if you guys want to do fan videos and stuff, definitely do. We enjoy all your support. We love you guys so much. And thank you all so much. I know it's been a while since I've done a review, but they are coming. I've just been working my ass off getting this done. So until the next video, guys, like, comment, subscribe. I will see you guys later. This is BigJackFilms signing off. There might be a few delays. And then once again, to quote the penguins from Madagascar, well, this sucks.